Hi everyone and welcome back to Tennis Time. So it's been almost 2 weeks since live tennis is back. We've had the tournament in Cincinnati, or I should rather say the tournament from Cincinnati held in New York. It was a successful event, being the first one after the pandemic. It was a Masters 1000. Um, Djokovic has won it. He's won his 35th Master Series title, and with that he managed to equal Rafa Nadal's record of 35 Masters titles won. Plus, with this victory, he has managed to win all 9 Masters events at least twice. So Monaco and Cincinnati are the ones which he's won twice. Incredibly impressive performance. Now, he had some neck issues. He had to quickly recover because after he played his final match on a Saturday, on Monday he was already in the first round. He had some very strong neck problems apparently in the first round, and the next 2 rounds in Cincinnati he apparently had no problems with the neck, but after that when he played the quarters and the semis, especially against Bautista Agut in the semi, where he played a very, very long match over 3 hours, which actually I think should have lost. He had stomach problems, he had neck problems, at times he could barely move, but somehow he managed to get into a third set deciding set tiebreak, and he played incredibly lights out tennis in that third set tiebreak, taking it 7 points to 0. In the final, he started a little bit badly against Raonic, lost the first set 6-1, but then he got the hang of Raonic's serve. He was putting a lot of returns into play. And after, for the first time he's broken Raonic, there wasn't really any doubt anymore that he couldn't finish the match or he wouldn't come out as the victor from that encounter. So the question is, was that taking out too much of Djokovic? Is there something or somebody who could stop him throughout the US Open? Well, after the first week, apparently no. He's played pretty much flawless tennis. During this first week, he's dropped a set against Kyle Edmund in the first set in his second round encounter. But then again, after that first set, the way he played, he never really looked in danger of dropping out. So the question is there anybody who could potentially stop Djokovic en route to his US Open final, to potentially his 18th Grand Slam tournament? Well, these are two separate questions, because him progressing into the final, whether somebody could stop him, I think the answer is pretty much a big no. Unless he gets really injured or is some serious issues, I don't really think anybody can stop him. In the fourth round, he's going to play Carreño Busta. Then he's going to play either Goffin or Shapovalov. I think Goffin is the one who probably will go through, but Goffin is not somebody who's going to pose a super big threat to Djokovic. In the semis, he was forecasted to play Stefanos Tsitsipas. That's not going to happen since Tsitsipas crashed out in a horrible match, at least for him. He was in the fourth set 5-1 up against Borna Coric. He was leading 2-1. He had in that set 6 match points in total. 4 of those match points were on his own serve. He blew them all. He was just so tight and tense and couldn't focus properly. So, and that's a pity, because from a game perspective, the way he plays tennis, he's somebody who can trouble Djokovic. And him and Djokovic playing a potentially a semi-final, that would have been really a highly anticipated encounter, but unfortunately it's not going to happen. Potential semi-final opponent for him is then maybe Borna Coric himself, who has beaten Dan Tsitsipas in the end, or maybe Sasha Zverev. But I don't really think either of those guys can really trouble Djokovic in a potential semi-final encounter. At the bottom half of the draw, it's a little bit more interesting, as you can see. We have still the number third seed in play, Daniil Medvedev. He's going pretty strong, and Dominic Thiem is still in there, so the number 2 and number 3 seeds. Both are playing pretty well, and I would expect them to go. One of them would go into the final. Team has to play Phoenix or Aliassime next, so FAA is for the first time in the 4th round of the US Open. That's a big thing for the 20-year-old. And the way he was playing in the first week, if he keeps it all together, I would not be surprised if he gave Team a very serious run for his money. And who knows, maybe this could be his really big breakthrough. Speaking of FAA, he was the one who's beaten Murray in the 2nd round. Murray played probably one of the most spectacular matches of the US Open. In the 1st round, he's played Nishikawa, the lightning fast Japanese player. I think that was definitely, even if it was the 1st round, that was one of the best matches of this US Open so far. So imagine Nishikawa breaks in the 1st set, goes 5-3 up, Murray holds serve, then Nishikawa holds serve, one love to the Japanese player in sets. 2nd set, Nishikawa breaks twice in the beginning, in the early stages of the 2nd set. He's 4 love up. Murray takes one of the breaks back, but it's not enough, and Nishikawa wins the 2nd set 6-4. In the 3rd, Nishikawa is up a break 3-1. Murray takes the break back. It was just 1 break. They go to the tiebreaker, and Murray wins the tiebreaker. In the 4th set, it's a very tight encounter. They go head-to-head, toe-to-toe. 5-6 for Murray. From Murray's perspective, he's serving, he's match point down, he saves the match point, goes into the tiebreak, wins the 4th set tiebreak again. In the 5th set, he's 1 break down again, he comes back, and at 4-5, Nishikawa serving, he breaks the Japanese player and takes the match. So it was a 4 hour 39-minute encounter, and definitely Murray with a little bit of, that's an understatement, a little bit of match practice. It was difficult to see how well he would recover, and he couldn't. And FAA was really coming strong, playing really well, hitting a lot of winners with his forehand. In the 3rd round, something similar. So FAA might be an interesting player to watch, especially in his next match against Thiem. What I was looking for during this US Open was to see whether crowd not being present is that really affecting players. To me, it seems it might have a little effect, but it's not really significant, which I'm surprised about. But in the end, maybe I shouldn't be, because if one of you guys goes out and plays tennis, and you know what you're doing, you definitely want to win, and you don't necessarily care if somebody else is watching directly or not. If you want to think about people watching, then you can imagine that during these times, even more people are watching live sports and live tennis than in any other regular season where sport is regularly on television. But now that's not the case, and probably more people are watching tennis on TV than ever before. So if you want to think of it like that, probably nobody has watched you play. Any of these players have never been watched by so many people than at this edition of the US Open. But doesn't really seem to bother the players, actually. It's a little bit strange for me as a spectator that I see in the crowds Muratoglu or Tsitsipas' father or Goran Ivanisevic as Djokovic's coach hanging around and wearing a mask and not wearing a mask and eating lunch sometimes, and that's what you all see in the crowds basically. But that doesn't seem to really affect the tennis. If you watch the tennis, We had this incredible first round match with Murray and Nishikawa. In the second round, we had good matches again. Dimitrov was playing Marton Fucsovics, and a little bit surprisingly, Fucsovics has won that match. It was a great five-set battle. Also, second round, Tiafoe playing Millman, again a big five-setter. Milos Raonic, who's been in the final in Cincinnati with Vasek Pospisil losing out in four sets. That was also an interesting match. And in the third round, we had again great five-set matches. Dimonor beating Khachanov in a tough five-setter. Denis Shapovalov beating Taylor Fritz also in five. And then, of course, we had the disastrous match between Tsitsipas and Borna Coric, also in five. Tsitsipas winning in the fifth set breaker. And the Team Cilic match was also a good one from a tennis quality perspective. You did not see any lack of motivation by either player, especially in the third and the fourth sets. So I would say, apart from this bubble thing and some players having problems with being tested even positive, even being a bubble, apart from that, I would say the US Open was a great success so far. What I find a little bit strange, during the Cincinnati Masters, also had at the New York location, they did not use the lines people. They were having the electronic system, and now that we're playing the US Open, they're back to the lines people calling it. At the beginning, when I was starting to watch the Cincinnati matches, it did not bother me. It did bother me a little bit. It took me a day or two to get used to it, but now I think that system is a lot better than lines people calling the calls. Because you know that every single call and every single time Hawkeye is making that call, you don't have challenges. You can be sure that what you have as a call is the correct one. And even if you would challenge, it would be the same outcome. So people can actually concentrate more on what's happening on the court. They don't need to worry about running out of challenges or hoping and being in suspense whether that challenge will be in or not. I know some people find that interesting or fascinating, but after having watched Cincy for 1 week in New York, I don't miss the challenge system, to be honest. Okay, so looking ahead regarding next week, the title of the video was Can Anybody Stop Djokovic? So, as I said, going through to the final, probably not. It's almost money in the bank betting on Djokovic, unless he's injured or something. But he's most probably going to get into the final. At the bottom of the draw, it's a little bit more complicated, but we have great prospects of matches as a lineup. We have Dimonor against Pospisil. I think that will be a good match. I would pick Dimonor to come through. Medvedev Tiafoe. Medvedev has a 2-love lead on that one, and I think he's playing good tennis right now. So, but Tiafoe as well, but I still think Medvedev is the favorite to come through. Berrettini, Rublev, the number 6 seed, the number 10 seed. I don't know about that, but that might be a tough match as well. So I think all of the fourth round matches at the bottom of the draw are really matches to look forward to. And then quarterfinal is probably going to be even more interesting. If somebody would put a gun to my head, I would bet on Medvedev to come through and play the semis and potentially the final as well. So maybe we will have the Medvedev Djokovic final. I think that will be a very interesting one. Alright, let me know what you think. Do you like the US Open as of now, as it is, with the no crowd policy and everything as it's happening? Okay, thanks for watching and see you next time.